It's Stacy with Stacy's Ritzy TP Kraus, and I'm here to do a whip and chat. I'm doing Dax. Uh, I think it's a mini Manzano. Let me check real quick. It's one of their older ones. Um, Oh no, it's by Julie Filippenko. And it's called One Bite, 22 inch by 28 inch or 56 by 71 centimeters. And I'm also using Firefly Diamond art trays. I've got I call them my quad trays, but they're the Spark 4s. So you'll see me using those. And then I also use the Inferno Nano. So you'll see me using that as well. How's everyone doing? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, awesome. Give me a thumbs up at the end of this video if you end up liking it. Comment below so I can really get back to you guys. I love chatting with y'all. And thank you for coming. And so don't forget to subscribe. And for those returning, of course, thank you so much for coming back. It's been a while. It's been such a hot minute. And there has been so much that has developed in my life and so much that I'm still struggling with. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to talk about it. Yeah. And then I'll give a little update with our PC and some stuff that's going to be going on this week. Or this weekend. So that's going to be fun. So how's everybody doing? The weather out here has been up and down. It's like 70s and then it goes down to the 40s, and I just don't know how to dress. So I hope you guys are at least getting some good weather. It's nice when it's nice, and I love it's like a fall breeze, even though it's springtime. So who knows? And we're supposed to get a storm tomorrow, which will be nice. Um, yeah, so weather update, don't we? Doesn't everybody do that when they begin to chat? They talk about the weather, like how to start conversation, talk about the weather. It's always a game discussion, right? Discussion. It always opens up to discussion and debate. There we go. Got it out. Anyway, I've really missed you guys, and I know it's been a hot minute since the Retro Coat Classic. I always need like a month off, although it's been like a month and a half. I'm still getting into the house and organized and dealing with mental health stuff as usual and house issues. So, yeah, we'll get into all of that. As far as RPC stuff goes, we're still going strong and got orders out. They're coming out on time. I do the orders once a week, usually every Sunday, Monday, or Monday. Sometimes I'll do one like later on in the week, depending where the orders are or when they're coming in. So just keep that in mind. And I still have them getting proofed, and we're good to go in that area. We got some new releases coming out Saturday evening, Sunday morning, or Sunday afternoon, I should say, for you Aussie people or people south of the border. So that'll be really cool, and that's all going to be art inspired by the Asian year-long diamond painting event. So I know that there's a few of you that is doing that event. It's anything Asian themed. Um, and there's a lot of things outside that you wouldn't think would be Asian related. Um, but mine's obvious Asian stuff. So yeah, so I'm doing a release on that, and I think Sarah Bryce has some of her images in there too for that release. So that'll be awesome. And yeah, so I we will be putting that up on the Home of Rose Profits webpage. I'll probably put it up on my business page, Stacy Deal Arts, just because I'm the artist, one of the artists that is doing it. It's also sponsored. We're helping to sponsor as a RPC thing. So you'll see those announcements everywhere, and that's going to be this coming Saturday, Sunday morning. I think it's like at 6 a.m. Sunday morning. Sorry, guys, but it's how cookie crumbles. So that's new, and we're going to be cleaning up a lot of old images out of the website. I think we're going to be removing a lot of the signed art from Libby because she's definitely changed her style, and we don't do signatures any longer on our art, so those will be coming down. Rose is going to be eventually weaning out her digital art because now she hand draws. So a lot of these will be on a slight discount for you guys, and I'll start working on that as soon as I get some of my art taken care of. Some of the older stuff will be discounted. and then eventually phased out. We're gonna be hopefully getting some new artists in. I know Rose is in talks with some that do hand drawn type of art, or I forget the style, like normal art styles. Um, so that'll be really cool for RPC. And let's see what else. Anything else going on with RPC? Not that I know of. So that's all for RPC. I'm diamond painting. We finished the Retro Cult Classic back in February, and that was a wonderful event. And for those of you that were week 4 and the second runner up for the grand prize, I did find the release papers from Bee's Crafty Corner. So thank you so much for your patience. I will be getting those out shortly to you. And with the Asian event, I am going to be working with Bee's Crafty Corner on getting those images, whatever images she chooses that she'd like to have for that. She'll, if she does choose any, that'll go on release papers for you guys as well. And they also are helping to sponsor the Asian year-long DP event as well. So it's a great collaboration between the three of us. And I'm very thankful to have those connections and to be able to work with such wonderful people for the event as well as with bees. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart to give me that opportunity as an artist. And the art world, I'm getting more art out. I'm back. It's overwhelming a little bit to get into everything, but I'm slowly coming back. I did have a huge mental health break. I was technically on it around December, and it went about mid-June to end of March. I'm still going through some of it, but it is like 80%, 90% better. It'll be all better once the entire house situation is taken care of and my life can get back to some normalcy. So I'll catch you up on that for a little bit. And I appreciate you guys for doing the Retro Cult Classic event. I hope we got a little bit more lives in there than we did before. Um, and it was fun. And I'd love to continue doing stuff throughout the year. But we'll come back and we'll do it again next year in February. And yeah, it's just February is a hard month. And it's a mentally hard month for me. I think I lost my mom in December, so that's when it kind of all starts. But this was a whole house situation and the stress of moving from the apartment to the house and still not having a finished house. So I was very distracted. I was working on Libby's or E. Lenny's art for the Retro Cult Classic, and I still have it packed up, so I have to pull it out. But I did pull out my Snow White, which is what you see me working on right now. And I'm absolutely loving it. Like there's excuse me, a ton of color blocking. So I'm kind of working with the top color blocking and the sides, and now I'm kind of geared towards her face. So I wish the ABs were more in the ribbon. I would have really loved the ribbon and the apple and all the red to be kind of like ABs or crystals. I think that would have been beautiful. And could I have enhanced it? Of course I could, but I'm not going to because yeah, that gets overwhelming in itself unless it's pre-charted for me. But that's neither here nor there. I'm really enjoying it. It's another round one. I just finished my Alphaba, which went super quick. And this is going pretty quick too. So I'm very happy. And yeah, so all right, so let's get into the nitty gritty. Where have I been? What have I been doing? What have I been going through? So most of you know, if you've been following my story, that I moved out of my house into an apartment back in July, I think was the cutoff. We technically had the apartment since May. Slowly moving into there. My husband came out in June to help me move, and that's the last we've seen of him. Haven't seen him since, which is fine. That's his decision. Um, I'm not going to go into details of that and his anonymity. It's his anonymity, whatever you want to call it. But this is my journey and my recovery and all that good stuff. And so, yeah, how am I drinking and diamond painting? Don't ask, because I'm recording this voice over because I can't do both at the same time. But so we moved out in July in the apartment. We've been dealing with the apartment. They were supposed to work on a house right away and they didn't end up working on it. It took me several phone calls to get a hold of them. And so finally in September, I think, August, September. Yeah, September, they kind of started working on it. It was left on the driveway because it's a mobile home, so they pulled it out and they left it in my driveway for about 2.5 weeks. And I finally got on them about it. There was excuse after excuse. I was supposed to be moved out by Halloween. That didn't happen. So I'm like, okay, I just need to get moved out by Thanksgiving. That didn't happen. Wasn't even close to happening. And so finally I told him, I'm like, look, my lease is up in January. It technically wasn't until until February, but I told him it was up in January because I needed a whole month to be able to move because that's how like overwhelming it can be for me. And January it wasn't done. I'm like, is it going to be done by Christmas? No. I had a breakdown. I had a mental health breakdown at that point. I was destroyed and distraught because I was not going to have our first Christmas at our new house. Um, and I really wanted that to be special with Jackie. And it wasn't. So thank God for a program I'm in. And I was able to look at it from the point of view, are we healthy? Are we okay? Is this mattering for me, or is this really, Jackie being upset about it? And I realized that it was just me being upset because it was what I wanted. And I let that go and I was able to move on to it. And I told him, look, I need to be out by January. Couldn't get out by January. So February comes around and finally, oh, I couldn't get a date on a move out. So I had to give like a 30-day notice or 60-day notice to my apartment. I couldn't do that in December. So it wasn't until like early January that I was told, okay, well, you can move in by February. I said, well, I need a 60-day notice with my apartment, and couldn't give me that time frame to put that 60 days in. So because you've delayed this, um, 3 months, 6 months past where we needed to be, you're gonna have to pay my February rent. Um, and so they did. They put up a wine. They were only going to give me, I think, like 1,000, and my rent was like 1750. And so I had to call their managers and say, look, this isn't on me. This is on you guys, and you need to take care of it. Otherwise, there would have been a lawsuit. I'm still thinking of suing them for mental distress um, and loss of work because of the situation. So I probably will be speaking with the lawyers. Also, because of the fact there is issues with the house that I really don't think that they are going to solve, which is causing me undulating stress. With the delays, I have had to take off work now twice because there's so much banging and stuff going on with my porches. My porches could have been done during my medical leave if the house was ready to move in, because everything was supposed to be done by um, fall so that I didn't have to worry about the winter weather and the rain and the freezing cold, because you can't lay cement in freezing cold, and that's what I needed to build my porch and my driveway. And I know I'm talking really fast, but it's a huge story. So, been dealing with that. I appreciate any type of words of wisdom or guidance, or if you know lawyers that can help me out, great. I would really appreciate it because I really do think I have a lawsuit pending with everything I've going on, everything that's documented as well, and the medical leave I had to take off of work because of it. Um, so anyway, I'm finally getting my porches put in. My back porch is done. My front porch is still getting in, and I had to take off 2 days of work because of all the hammering. I told him, I said, you need to do this on my days off and it needs to be done before Easter. So they finally got somebody here yesterday, or and today, I think yesterday and today. So yesterday I had to, did I leave work yesterday? I think I left work yesterday for a little bit because of the banging, and then I had to leave again today. I didn't realize they were going to be back today because I told them I need them to come on Wednesday or Friday because those are my days off, and they decided to come today. So Monday, not so great. Tuesday, definitely not great. Left for work. And I asked them if they're not coming back tomorrow, they were coming back Thursday. I said, can you hold off coming back Thursday and just come back Friday? And they're like, well, it just depends on how he does the schedule. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll call him and tell him the urgency of it. And I did. And he's like, I'm like, this needs to get done by Easter. And I can't have the guys here when I'm working because I'm having to take time off of work. You guys are going to need to come back on Friday and get everything done Friday. So we will see what happens. They said they only needed one more day, so I'm crossing my fingers on that. But their 1 week time frame of getting this done I was going to give him 2 to 3 weeks as a leeway. Has taken now since February, end of February, I think. So part of it was weather related. Part of it is because they kept screwing up on communication with the contract, and the uh, county with the permits. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It has not been a fun journey, and I have issues with the house that I really doubt are going to get fixed. But I sent them out a whole listing, and I sent pictures to them, so there's proof. And they're like, we don't want the pictures because the pictures take up too much space, and we really need it documented in words. And I was like, okay, well, you're still going to get the damn pictures because that is my legal proof of what my words represent, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to continue to do the pictures and screw them. They can zip it if they need to, as in a zip file, but they're going to continue getting the pictures. And I told them that as well. It was supposed to be get turned in today. I turned in the first batch, I think, on Sunday. And I turned in another batch, I think, yesterday. And today was the first time well, it was late last night. So we'll give it credit there. But they just got back to me on the second batch I sent them today, telling me, no, we can't get just the pictures. We need it in words. It needs to be documented. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I had to deal with that. So that's basically what I've been dealing with. And I wanted it to be a fun journey, and it's not. We still need to unpack, and I've got people finishing up the large item. I got two like display cases that need to come from Belgium in my storage unit. I've got movers coming, and then some of the heavier boxes we're going to start moving in and condensing to, I think, either two storage units or two and a half. I'm not sure yet. Um, so I've got to start kind of organizing the rooms again and getting things out of boxes or switched over from one box to another and some of it put away. So I'll be working on that in the next 2 days. And then my daughter's off of school, so who knows how messy the house is going to get even more. But we'll see. Hopefully, we can keep everything cool, calm, and copacetic, and I can get help with the cleaning, and we'll see where we go. The other thing is, let's see, what else? What else do we want to talk about? I really don't know how long this is going to go for, but we'll see what we can do. Um, Loved the Retro Cult Classic with Christopher. I absolutely have the best time with him, and I really appreciate him doing that with me every year, despite what we both go through around that same time. But he's my right hand man, and I think I'm his right hand girl at that point. So, but he has his schedule full. He does events, his unboxings, and we've got the June Pride coming up, which is great. So, yeah, sorry, I lost track of what I was talking about. Um, Mental health, because we all need a mental health check. The program I'm doing awesome in. I absolutely love my daily meetings that I have. It's not really a mental health thing, it's more of a, let's just say, anonymity situation. I have so many friends and people that just listen to me, and I absolutely love it. Um, and I have people that I made friends with, and it's been such an amazing experience. The time off of work, I've actually been learning so much about myself and developing myself. And I've been, because I don't have a certain someone around, which if you caught my earlier comment, you would have caught on that. But that person hasn't been around for about, I'd say 9 months, almost 12. I think it'll be 12 in June. 9, 10 months. Yeah. So I've really, like, I haven't had to walk on eggshells. It's been so much more peaceful here. I don't have to worry about like little comments under breaths or, yeah, walking on eggshells was huge, but it's just been very calm and collective. I've been able to refocus and want to do things for me and not because I'm being told to do something or because I feel like, um, I I'm I do it for me. I don't do it because how am I wording this? I do it for me. I didn't do it before because I always got nasty comments under my breath whenever I tried to do it. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope you get the gist. Like, if you do something and someone's always nasty about it, no matter how much effort you put in, you don't want to do it anymore. So that's kind of the point I was trying to make. I'm getting into the point of wanting to take care of myself, wanting to take care of the house and just be a better person. And the program I do it daily for about an hour, and then I kind of just hang out with people. And it's just really enlightening. It's taught me so much, and it's actually what got me through the door to be able to walk through the door with Temple, along with my like trauma therapy, because um, I found out that I was diagnosed with PTSD. I had no clue I had PTSD. And when I told the therapist that, I'm like, I didn't realize you diagnosed me with PTSD. She goes, Oh, yeah, with the stuff that you've been through. Um, and I haven't, a lot of my stuff that I've been through has been verbal, um, yelling, screaming. And then, there's things that happen when you're a kid that, they consider it like a certain thing nowadays if it goes that, too extreme. But I don't know if I want to justify it as that, but because it had a traumatic effect on me in terms of how I look at myself, then, that's something different. So it is traumatic. It is post traumatic stress disorder I have. And it's why I get my anxiety attacks as much as I did. I don't get them as much anymore, but I'm finding out that I really, really hate confrontation. I don't, not that I hate it, it's just I can't. I go into a fight or flight mode. Um, I want to fly, but because I can't, I fight. And what that means with my job and the way calls come in is once they start kind of getting nasty to me, or I don't feel like they're listening to me or that I'm being heard, I tend to start interrupting, like cutting them off and interrupting because then I'm not hearing because I'm in a fight mode. And I feel like I have to get the answers out um, to try and stop the conversation so I can leave, which is the flight. So um, that's the dilemma I'm in right now. And it's not a healthy dilemma. I have to be empathetic to people and I've got to let them talk and not interrupt them. And I totally get that. So I have yet. My manager just got back this week, and oh my gosh, the second call I got when I returned back to work was a nasty person cussing me out. And I was like, I sat back and I was like, I don't know if I left or if I stayed on. Um, I think it was about break time or something. I don't know, but I left that day and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do this job. I don't want to have nasty people. I don't want to have to deal with the nastiness and ugliness of people and people yelling at me over things. And while I know it's not me personally, it's just, you react because that's your trigger. The confrontation is my trigger. And EMDR, so we're doing like a projecting EMDR. EMDR helps to desensitize that initial fight or flight or that anxiety, that trigger, so that way you don't you still have feelings about it, but you don't react as much as escalation as I do. Um, I hope that makes sense. I don't know, but that's what he was working on with me last week. And I just have to put into perspective that when they talk, I just need to take a breath and I just need to tell myself I'm okay and that they're just angry at whatever's going on. Something must have triggered them. And I try listen, I try not to interrupt, but it is so hard. Like, there's certain things that I can't do at work. Like, I can't call outside unless it's one of our providers to help. Um, when they get bounced around, it's like, I'll just connect you over. I can't do that. And it would help me resolve situations so much better if I had a little bit more access to do things instead of passing the buck, so to say. Um, but then again, I don't want to be on the call that long to begin with dealing with it. I want to pass the buck a lot because it's not my responsibility. Um, So it's just trying to find a balance and knowing when it does get escalated, and if I do go into that fight or flight mode, like where can I go at that point? Like who can I reach out to? How can I get help? Um, so that I don't escalate the situation past company guidelines. I don't know at what level I can tell the customer, look, if you'd like some help, I can help you, but I can't help you when you're this aggressive, or I don't even know how to word it, but I can't help you if you're not going to let me, and I'll have to end the call. So it's like at what point I can do that, at what point can I do that calmly and unemotionally in terms of my emotions and more empathetically. Look, I can help you out, but I need you to pause and give me a moment to work on this for you. But I totally hear you and I totally understand where you're coming from. I personally don't like to agree with them because that's, how a company, if you agree with someone, yeah, you're right, on a situation, like, okay, how come it's ridiculous you guys are only paying like $50 on a $300 item. Um, and I get it, but that's a provider's contract, can't talk about that. But at the same time, um, just draw a blank on what I was talking about. Jeez Louise. See, that's what my mind's doing right now. Um, Let me just put it this way. I want to be able to reassure them that I can help them out and get it taken care of and end the call. And let them know that I am hearing them, I am listening, um, and they need to give me the chance to work on it. So I have to talk to my boss about what those options are. And at what point can I disconnect the call because of um, the aggression? How much of it am I supposed to take versus how much I can take versus what is the option to pass it over to our escalation teams when it gets too much so somebody can help the caller. So that's just some things I have to check before I do like what is it called when you have to adjust your work, the way you work, you need to be able to adjust it before I officially send something like that in. So hopefully on Thursday I can talk to her about it because I did not get the opportunity today, and we'll see what those options are. Then the other options is if I don't have anything that works for me and I just get triggered on the calls a little bit too much and we can't completely desensitize it. Um, my other option is to either look for another job or not work at all. I do not want to work in front of people because of that situation, because of confrontation. Also, because my standards are kind of like by the book standards, and I will find ways around the book to do things more efficiently. And a lot of companies don't like that. And I'm like, but this doesn't make sense. Um, like, why are we doing this way? This makes absolutely no sense, and it's a longer process. Like, if, for example, we have to fill out forms to get something mailed out to somebody, or we don't, yeah, to get something. I'm like, why don't we just put that as an option in the system to mail something? Why do I have to fill out a form and fill out every little detail that's already in the system? Why doesn't the system just capture it and put it in the form? Or why can't I just send the form out directly from, the member side of the system? So it's a lot, and it just doesn't make sense when I know there's an easier way of doing something. Now, from the back end, yeah, it's a technical issue and there's a lot of programming involved, and I get that. But it's just so hard when you know you can do something a lot easier, and it just isn't possible. So I'm like, why do I have to transfer the call? Why can't I just help the member from start to finish so I can resolve it rather than passing the buck? Oh, because this or that. And I'm like, okay. And I've dealt with that in every single one of my jobs, even some within the same company, a different type of job. So it's just something you have to deal with, especially in a corporate office. And I get that. Um, but, I fight it because like knowingly there's a better way of doing things, and I like better way of doing things if I can resolve the situation. So it is what it is, and yeah, so I was planning to retire soon anyway. Um, like at least within the next year if I can financially afford it, and at least by next summer at the absolute latest before next summer. Because I'd like the time to travel with my daughter and spend time with family and go do this or go do that. And if I can afford it, I will, because that's my life and that's my daughter's life. And, you know, we don't have to suffer what we've suffered through any longer. We can do what we want to do to have, the good times. And that's what I'm looking for. So who knows? I might be riding in a little RV coming across the country to see everybody here in the US, or I might travel and go see people outside. Who knows? But yeah, I love traveling and I want my daughter to have the same experiences. And I think we'll be in a position we can. It's just I can't take that time off from work because I can only take like 2 weeks at a time. And I need more than that. I want a month to be able to go travel, especially if I want to drive cross country. You can't do that in 2 weeks. Um, so yeah, so that's where I am. And that's my thought processes that are going on and the mental health situations. Um, and I think everything else is hunky dory. Jackie's doing a little bit better. We've got her getting her meds for ADHD and ODD and possible autism. We're trying to get with a therapist for an autism check. The school is already confirmed. Very, very high functioning though, and very smart at finagling, manipulating, which I'm not so happy about. But it is what it is. We're getting her meds checked because her ODD is kicking in a little too much because now it's affecting her schoolwork. Um, and we just want to make sure that she's on the best medication as possible to keep everything in check. She's doing amazing. She's such a great
Sorry, my
person,
mic cut
and
off.
her
She's a
therapy is
lot
going
more
really, really well. We're doing
communicative.
family
She's not
therapy,
like
and
nonverbal or anything.
she's
It's
more
just that
communicative.
her sentences are not like full seventh grade sentences. She does like fifth grade, sixth grade sentences. So I need to get like more detail out of what she's saying. Is what I'm kind of reflecting at. She'll use words like this and that, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she'll say, "Oh, this happened," and where's this going? What's the rest of the story? So yeah, it's like that. But we are going to temple, and things have been really cool. We're getting ready for our Benai Mitzvah, which is just a double bat mitzvah. It's kind of like for those that don't know, it's a Jewish thing that kids do when they're 13, and it's to welcome them into adulthood, I guess, at that age. I don't know why they don't do it at 18, but they do it at 13 because I guess that's when the responsibilities change in Jewish tradition. But so we're doing a double bat mitzvah, and I actually have gotten called up to the bima to read from the Torah and to do the prayers, the aliyahs, which has been so fun. Like it's been a great feeling to do that. Jackie said the motzi, which is the blessing over the bread, the challah, and we've lit the Shabbat candles together. So it's been a lot of fun learning, and we're working on our tour portion for the bat mitzvah. That's going to be at the end of August, so I'm really excited. Normally, it takes about a year to go through that process, and I think we're on a 10-month program, so we're kind of getting through it pretty quickly. I can read pretty much the letters. I get a few of the characters mixed up just because they look very similar, but for the most part, I can read it. And it's just catching the vowels, so that's something I'm working on. And then it's just, I don't know if I can chant everything, but we're trying to do the chant for at least a couple things. And then, of course, the songs and whatnot. And then we have the bat mitzvah party at night. So we're doing like Shabbat Friday service, and then we're doing the bat mitzvah Saturday morning, and then we're going to have the dance dinner. Dinner and dancing. Oh, did I get corrected on that? A lot. Um, my sister's like, isn't it supposed to be like dinner and dancing? I said, no, it's a dinner and a dance. The dance is a noun because that's what it is. I'm not saying dining and dancing. And she just couldn't get the concept. And I'm like, well, I appreciate the suggestion. Thank you, but I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. Um, one thing I learned is Ask to give suggestions before you just give them. And just because someone's talking doesn't necessarily mean they want your feedback. So just ask them if they want, if you want to listen or if you want to comment on it. You guys can comment. I'm like really happy on commenting because I like to hear what you say. Share stories, share comments, share your suggestions. I'm open for it. And then I can take what I want and leave the rest. So just because someone says something doesn't mean you actually have to do it or follow what they're saying. Um, which I'm down, right honest about people. If you're going to ask me how you look, don't ask me unless you want an answer. But now I have to learn, do you want me to tell the truth and, you know, let you know, or do you want me to just make you feel better? Some people just want to be felt better. Some people really want to know. I'm the type of person that's really going to let you know. Oh, but if you like it, it looks good. I feel like I'm an honest person and you get what you get with me. So that's studies, and if anybody needs to find not a religion, but something to believe in, or having a hard time knowing like what praying, I don't want to get into a religious debate here, so you guys can all have your own ideas of what God is and what your beliefs are, and that's perfectly fine. But for those of you that are struggling or don't know what praying is or how it works, or um, higher power is what I call it, a God, your higher power. It's not just a God. And if I give this advice to anybody, and I'll probably say it in multiple of my chats, but learning to pray does not mean you need to sit there and pray um, like the typical, bending, crossing your hands, holding your hands. The praying pose that I'm talking about. You don't need to be in that. You don't need to lean over your bed and pray and bend your head, and you don't have to do that. If you do that, that's fine and it's great, and I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but it's not something you have to do. Praying is just having a conversation with God or with your spirit or whatever it is that you do or don't believe in. It's just having that conversation. Um, if you ever find yourself, oh, I hope she's okay, that's praying. I don't care who you are or what you believe in, but that's praying. If you say, oh, I just want to get there safely, that's praying. Oh, I hope you have a safe flight, that's praying. Um, it's just having that open conversation or the conversation in your mind or the thought. Um, your higher power, your tools, your God box, whatever it is you want to call it, those are everything that helps you through your journey. Um, it could be friends, it could be your therapy, it could be any meetings you go to, it could be these whipping chats, it could be the people in our community that you talk to. It could be the fact that you take 10 minutes out of your day just to, sit down and process or journal. Um, Go to your safe place, meditate. All of those are tools, your God box, your higher power. So, higher power doesn't have to be a God. It can be anything you use to reach out to help you get through your struggles or your day. So just keep that in mind. It was really hard for me to understand what praying was. It was hard for me to understand how to accept God in my life. Even though I knew He was there and I had guardian angels that protected me, and I did talk to God a lot. Oh, anger, resentment, all that good stuff was talking to God, curled up on my bed and when I was little, and I totally remember that. Um, but yeah, if you do struggle, that's the best way I can. And then there's a little story about a little boy that was sitting on a bench and he was saying his ABCs. And a guy walks by and he goes, "What are you doing?" Because he hears the boy doing his ABCs. And he says, "I'm talking to God." And he says, I'm praying to God." And he says, "That's not praying. That's saying your ABCs." He goes, "God knows what I'm saying. And God knows that I'm making the attempt to try. And that's all that matters because that's me talking to God. And He hears me. He knows in my heart what it is that I want to say, even though I can't say it." So, even though you might not know how to pray, even though you might not Um, have a God. Just know, no matter what you say, as long as it's in your heart, um, that's your power. Um, so if you never had anything to look towards your power. Look towards that those things that help you throughout the day, whatever you want to call them. Whether you want to call them a higher power or not, that's up to you. But look towards all of the stuff that help you get through what you need to get through and all the things that help you celebrate what you go through in good times as well. And I'm gonna probably leave it on that because I think that's a really that was a really strong ending for me to start let go of my past and move on to my journey. It helped me learn how to process anytime things are said that I don't understand or that overwhelm me. And I hope that leaves you guys with a little something as well. I didn't want to get too preachy, but I just wanted to share because it's something that I've been going through, and I really hope that someone's listening and it helps. We say a Mishiberach in our prayers every Shabbat. I say it every so often. It's a prayer for those that need healing, and anytime you need that, shoot me a line, and I'll be more than happy to add you to that. In my prayers. But in general, I do have the whole community as a whole for everyone that goes through something, both mentally and physically. Um, and I pray for those that can't. And I never thought I would say that in my life. And I'm very happy to be able to share that with you guys. So I really hope you guys enjoy this chat. It did come from the heart. It was a lot of challenges that I've overcome. My daughter is overcoming, and I really wanted to share that with you all. And whatever feedback you'd like to provide, I'm open to hear it. If you want any suggestions or opinions, let me know, and I will do my best. I have enough spoons right now. I can, you know, share stories or what have you. If you're going through something and you need a short story to help you get through it, I'm there. Um, or I know where you can go. So we will leave it at that. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You all are amazing. Um, be kind, be true, be smart, be wise, and I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your Easters on Sunday. I will try and get some Easter art out. Um, it'll be released on Sunday if I can get it sized and everything in time and on the website. And I love you guys. Have a great one and enjoy Passover for those that do celebrate. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.